Calling and buloluku with whatever we do. You safu no la with whatever we do. Hale yi demu school. Nyepamne ne kudlukula. Nyepangi ragala gena. Nyepamne ne kudlukula. Ibuloke nungoto ni beti sola. Ibuloke dato ni betoto.
Bengi Congo.
Lamin.
Na.
Lamin te jibe norin te nyame Lamin.
Kabona wulo kono.
Wulo kono nyinta mo Lamin.
Pabilenki.
Muna ngata afongole.
Haina.
Ngata. Ngoto le. Fabrama.
Mingi. Baba nyola.
Ngoto le Fabrama.
Namu jumala kan kumandi ten.
Fabrama.
Jumala mu.
Ndele bare muso.
Nunda mana.
Kamo kata.
Jamani mbere.
Alindo ko.
Jamani.
Bari ngoto man kontande.
Bari jamani fana na mudu ma kontan.
Ngoto minaka ngala min je fon filitala. Lamin jibe nori nyala.
Lamin ila sira sama ne benki. Yala so tol sayni no ko mo lokko momo.
Ngoto.
Nam.
Itedinte yalo ne Lamin hakkilo diata bake karambu ngoto. Anu santeng ministry ko di ngole si suko na amake ko do holi de
si bitun
bagona ringa
ala ni ko kede namo balo
ala ni na ko na karta bulo be damla ala ni je
ngoto
nam
ngoto mon kontan fere
jamani mu ne keda
ite ka Lamin ki wulo ko no nyintay mon ko do fete malo Lamin nyanta sila la be la moy kala karango
jamani karamol be soron ne ko fasita wulo ko nako
karamol ma soron ni ko karamol soron da amake ko holiday lem ngoto dini wonyanta sila la ala karango la moy yamen kamen fue man kontan andamande
alla nyin kombo courant adanda la kombo len do la jan karam ngol le soron do kamen courant ma do la kombo e don do fana na karam ngol soron je karam ngol soron Lamin ada lo nyino la man tara fe na sokon ala mu nekela
am Lamin ite foyde malon ko lesinol be ke radio to
nga fine
e ko nyadi mo Lamin ya mu na fonye
kabim bina kan tambita nteri maning Fatu tambite la sukala ala dinngol bebe siri be la moyka
Fatou danso am fana tambita jele ni subala la ngaje dinngol be jet talanta nin kili warol e be seri jele
sa Lamin fadante ku kili woke no la ba Lamin bitaka wulo ko no nyinta mo Lamin
aman dara fenela
ite dide ko ni man si yakari la suno la moy radio to balon nak
mu ne ka ke afone ba nyara ni alon
telentel jikot
afone ba mu ne be ke
ite balontel be jikritel ni man karambe ku kele yaje nata karana mbasa malaya ay tarije
par ñarande kombo courant ho findira kombo ide na raje den sonka bay ko Lamin manya tala wulo ko adu karam mo be so da fa nyambe
ko to wole nati bawo ngalle ni Lamin kuntala kombo courant o ka fa me kombo courant asototal wala kinay ko e sisu ko no bari ni ko e sisu ko no be karangol dike la radio lin telel to hani tele masoto to nyaay man tele soto la bongo bar radio be bulen ko to batiri sanga ay si ay alamo
sa do kala
nyaadi ko ta o bulaji
ado kala nyaadi
kamun ke nyaadi
radio abe wala mo la be mona falaje
ibe la karandirol kala jele
ti talle be radio ko men ka karande
ila subjector baby jele baby jele
wala nanga chocho moy fa dan so wala ngombe tambi kana ngadi ningol de be ikadum bungo de ko kada maro mo
asototal de
Lamin mala be kara wala de
bari
lafta ideal on ko inde every year second wala fourth
mona ni ko ma ko nde ko folle sinila ba nde le sinilo ne ba
mbasa mba foke en koto wole fango yen wulindi yalo famo keta bat ñu fadam bulata ko ko don meyen nati jambi Lamin nyanta karana ntel beji ko be nyine ka ya bulay kara wulo kana ta kilar ya bambalo yo be bulaje ko to dinni ngoy si ayala le sino la moy radio
wara ka munda kara mo man soro Lamin nyanta kara si so na radio
la sila le ayala le sino
dal ko korna ko smalo
kilar ya
mo be ngala ko momo sa mi do ni ko no kera
mengi bruzo
ndelo ko la da ba rosa no radio ba no bari woro radio ni abe jele ba ngam do man dembe guljan dala nyara nyar wo ko fendi mo la Lamin tayra ba rosa
bara te ku folo ajibe nori nya labi tamete ku
mengi mun na de
teku teku
bari ko do famo ke
imagine nani nyambol si zol le keje kisigi man si zol no le kabun ka nyoma bari nyambu kino ni manya na kafinde ni nambe ko so laga ni nambe ko so laga
ngalle limbeta de be nyambo do dilanna
nyara ni ko rin fennat nyara nata
bari famo ke da
ngata bungono tabi bungono nyara ngando ko fele ko ke bar nganda ni pelo la dijak
iyo awa betar la
bungono bismillah bisu diara
pendulala yefungo tanka sina dolu tanka koro korota korota.
Good morning, viewers and listeners. Once again, is your friend Alhaji SM Youth. I am here to take you the 7th lesson in economics. But before we start the lesson today, which is a continuation of where we stopped in the last class, we are going to solve the assignment I gave you. I gave you an assignment, and I believe by now some of you have tried. So now you are going to relate your answers with the answers I will have here on board. Let's start from the first question, but before I read the question, let me read the assignment again. It says, given the demand and supply equation, QD is equals to 55 minus 1 over 3P, QS is equals to 10 plus 2 over 3P, where P is the price in dollars, quantity, QD is the quantity demanded, QS is the quantity supplied. So we are asked to determine the equilibrium price and quantity, and also if the price increase to 60, what will be the excess supply, and if the price fall to 20, what will be the excess demand. Now let's start from A. If you can remember previously, I told you that if you want to calculate the equilibrium price, we have to know that equilibrium price is the price where quantity demanded is equals to quantity supplied. Therefore, if you want to use those two functions to find the equilibrium price, which are the one we should use, we are going to equate the two functions. So therefore here we are going to take the quantity demanded function, equate it with that of the supply function. When we do that, we are going to have 55 minus 1 over 3P is equals to 10 plus 2 over 3P. So if we have this, we do what we call collecting like terms. If we collect the like terms, here if we transpose, we will have 2 over 3P plus 1 over 3P is equals to, we have 55 minus 10. So when we have this, here we have fractions. We are adding fractions. If you want to find the LCM, if you want to multiply both sides by 3 of the equation, it will give you the same thing. But now let's multiply. We multiply here by 3, multiply here by 3, and we multiply here by 3. You can use all or you find the LCM. So 3 will cancel 3. You will left with 2P plus 3 will cancel 3. You left with P will be equals to now 2P plus 1P. Here we have 55 minus 10. That is going to give us 45. 45 times 3. Now 2P plus 1P will give us 3P, which is equals to 5 times 3 will give us 15, carry 1. 5 times 3 times 4 will give us 12 plus 1, that will be 13. So if we divide both sides by 3, 3 will cancel 3. Now P will be equals to 3 goes 1 into 13 4 times. Remainder 1 into 15 5 times. So our equilibrium price is 45. Let's say it is in currency, let's say $45 if you want. So this is the equilibrium price. You have $45. Now, how are you going to find the equilibrium quantity? Substitute it in one of the functions. You have your equilibrium quantity. Let's use the supply function, for example, where we are going to have Qs is equals to 10 plus 2 over 3P. If we substitute, we have 10 plus 2 over 3 into 40 into 45. So here we are going to have 10 plus 3 goes into 45, 3 goes into 4, 1 times remainder 1 into 5. We have into 15 rather, you have 5. So that is will give you 2 times 15 will give you 30. Therefore, the equilibrium quantity will be equal to 30 plus 10, which will give you 40. This is the equilibrium quantity. Okay? So those who solve it, the equilibrium price is 45, the equilibrium quantity is 40. Now, the next question was we were asked to find the excess supply. Excess supply is equals to the quantity supply at a given price minus the quantity demanded. That is what when price increased to $60. So when price increased to $60, what is the excess supply? We need to know the quantity demanded at $60 and the quantity supply at $60. Which means we are going to take that 60 and substitute it in both the demand function and the supply function. So if we substitute 60 in the demand function, where we say QD will be equals to 55 minus, we have 1 over 3 into 60. So that will give us QD will be equals to 55 minus 3 into 60 will give you 20. Now, our quantity demanded at 60 will be 55 minus 20, which will be 35. So that is the quantity demanded at 60. Now we look at the quantity supply at 60. Quantity supply is 10 plus 2 over 3 into 60. So there we are going to have 10 plus 3 goes into 60 is 20. Now 2 times 20 will give you 40. Therefore the quantity supply there will be 50. I see. Now the quantity supply at price 60 is 50. The quantity demanded is 35. Our excess supply will be equals to now the quantity supply at 60 minus the quantity demanded, which will give us 50 minus 35. 50 minus 35 will be equals to 15. 15. Therefore, the excess supply at price 60 is 15. Now, we go to the excess demand at price 20. We are going to do the same thing. We say now excess demand is equals to quantity demanded at a given price minus the quantity supply. So which means again we are going to substitute 20 in both the demand function and the supply function to know the different quantities. In our last class we stopped at change in equilibrium caused by increase in demand. Today we will be starting from change in equilibrium caused by a decrease in demand. We know that a decrease in demand is indicated by an inward shift of the demand curve. As we have our supply here, whenever we say a change in demand, we are expecting two demand curves. Let's say here this is our first demand, D0, D0. And there we have our equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity, which we are going to label as QE and PE and QE. Now, we say if there is a decrease in demand, the demand curve shifts inwards, which is to the left. So if I draw my second curve here, where I label it as D1, D1, there is a decrease in demand. Now at this point, the quantity demanded at the equilibrium price will come down here, right where the curve intercepted the line of the equilibrium price, and you connect it down, and that I label it as Q1. You can see that now the graph is telling you that in the market, the demand is at Q1, but the supply is still at the equilibrium quantity. That is what the market is supplying, which means there is a gap between the quantity that is supplied and the quantity that is demanded. And the quantity that is supplied is higher than the quantity that is demanded. And that is what causes this gap, which we call the excess supply here. There is excess supply in the market. Now, this excess supply, how is it going to be regulated? We know that when there is high supply, now the suppliers will be forced to push the price down in order to make sale, so that they can clear the market. Because the market will not be cleared as long as the supply is higher than the demand. So if the supply is higher than the demand, now suppliers will try to beat the price down so that they will be able to make more sale. As they are reducing the price, the quantity demanded will be increasing, because the law says as price goes down, quantity demanded will increase. So now, as price is coming down, we see to it that now the quantity demanded will be increasing, because the demand at that time was very little. And when price is going down, quantity supply will be decreasing, quantity demanded will be increasing. So when quantity demanded is increasing, and quantity demanded is decreasing, quantity supply is decreasing because price is coming down. When price is coming down, quantity supply is expected to be decreasing, and quantity demanded is expected to be increasing. So they will be moving to an extent until they meet in another equilibrium, where you have P1, and now quantity demanded increase, quantity supply decrease, they meet at Q2. And that is what will clear the market. So here what are you going to learn from it is, whenever there is decrease in demand and supply is standing, there is what we call excess supply. So when there is excess supply, you will find out that now price will be forced to come down. As price is coming down, quantity demanded will be increasing, and quantity supply will be decreasing. So as they are decreasing, they will reach a point where they are equal, and that is what will clear the market, and a new equilibrium will be formed. Let me repeat myself for those who don't understand. When you shift the demand curve shift inward, now the quantity demanded is lower than the quantity supply. At that point, you see to it that there is excess supply in the market. The suppliers will be forced to reduce the price. As they are reducing the price, demand will now be increasing. going, that is the quantity demanded. You have to concentrate on the second curve. The second curve now, its quantity is increasing, going to the right. But now you look at the supply curve, its quantity will be decreasing because price is going down. Which means now, the quantity demanded is increasing, quantity supply is decreasing. The excess supply in the market is coming down. So as this one is decreasing, the other one is increasing, they meet at a point where you know that now the excess supply is exhausted. There, quantity demanded is now equals to quantity supply, and they meet at a new equilibrium price. And that new equilibrium price is what will form the new quantity in which the market will be cleared. This is how the decrease in demand change the equilibrium price and quantity. That is why we say the inward shift of the demand curve can be caused by factors such as decrease in consumers' income, decrease in price of substitute, increase in price of complements. On the graph, with a decrease in demand from D0 to D1, consumers are now demanding at Q1, which suppliers are supplying at QE. This has caused an excess supply of Q1, QE. Due to the excess supply, suppliers will be forced to bid the price down. As price is decreasing, quantity supply will be decreasing as well. And quantity demanded will be increasing until a new equilibrium is formed at P1 and Q2 respectively. So this is what happened. Now let's go to change in equilibrium caused by an increase in supply. So here we are going to concentrate on the supply curve. We have one demand curve, because here demand is not changing, but quantity demanded will change. So first of all, we have to know that an increase in supply means an outward shift of the supply curve, which is indicated on the graph you are seeing. Now how does this shift come about, and how does it affect the equilibrium? Now if we have, let's say, our original supply curve as S0, we have the equilibrium at PE and QE. This is our first equilibrium. We say supply has increased, which means supply has shifted outward. So when supply shifts outward, we have it here at S1. At this point, you will see that the supply in the existing price has increased, and it has come to, let's say, Q2. Now, still now, the demand is at QE. That is the quantity demanded in the market. But supply has increased to Q2, which means the supply is higher than the demand in the market. So therefore, we have excess supply. Now, what happens when there is excess supply? The excess supply needs to be cleared. So you will see that when that happens, suppliers still now will be forced to bring the price down. As they are bringing the price down, you see that quantity demanded will be increasing gradually. And because the price is reducing, quantity supply on this curve will be decreasing gradually. So as quantity demanded is increasing, quantity supply is decreasing, they will meet at a new equilibrium. That equilibrium, let's say, is at P1 and Q1. At that point now, the market is clear, because at the previous equilibrium, supply has shifted outward, supply has increased. It can be caused by any factor, but due to that now, there is excess supply, then price has to go down. If price go down, now people can demand more quantity, but yet still, because price is reducing, you know that people will reduce their quantity supply also, but not to go back to the previous equilibrium. They will just reduce a little bit. As they reduce, quantity demand increase, they meet again at another point, and that form a new equilibrium, that is what, at E2. So that is why on the graph we say the outward shift of a supply curve can be caused by many factors. Factors such as decrease in cost of production, favorable weather conditions, advance in technology, etc. Now when you look at on the graph, it says an outward shift of the supply curve from S0, S0 to S1, S1, while quantity demanded still stay at 0 QE and at PE, has caused an excess supply of QE, Q2. Due to the excess supply in the market, suppliers will be forced to bid the price down. As price is decreasing, quantity supply will also be decreasing, and quantity demanded will be increasing until a new equilibrium is met at P1 and Q1, which respectively, which form point E2. That is the second equilibrium. So this is how an increase in supply affects the equilibrium price in the market. Now let's look at the opposite. That is when supply decreases. When supply decreases, we are expecting the supply curve to shift to the left. That is what we call an inward shift. Now let's say we have our initial supply curve here at S0, S0. Now the equilibrium there is at PE, QE. So when supply reduces, the supply curve is going to shift to the left, that is inwards. Now we have reduction in supply at S1, S1. Now you will see to read that at PE, the quantity that is supplied there now has reduced down. Let's say to Q2. It has reduced drastically. But yet still, people in the market are demanding at QE, which is now the demand is higher than the supply in the market. That is what we call now in this gap between QE and Q2, there is what we call excess demand there. This excess demand, the market will regulate itself. So when there is excess demand, now more people are now chasing less goods, they will force the price to go up because people will be rushing to secure the good because it is in less supply. So as they are rushing to secure the good, the price of the good will be pushed up. Now, as the price is increasing, now the quantity supply will now be increasing, following the law of supply. The quantity demanded will now be decreasing. The quantity demanded will be decreasing, the quantity supply will be increasing. They are going up. Now they will be pushing the price. As they are pushing the price, quantity supply will be increasing, quantity demanded will be decreasing until they meet at a new equilibrium. Now let's say that equilibrium will be at Q1, and now that will become the new equilibrium at P1. So the excess demand has been cleared. In which form? Because more people are demanding less good, now they force the price up. The quantity demanded start reducing following its normal law. The quantity supply start increasing following its normal law until they reach at another equilibrium point. Where they reach now, that becomes the new equilibrium point at a higher price. So this is why we say the inward shift of the supply curve can be caused by an increase in cost of production, high tax, poor weather condition, etc. On the graph, the shift of the curve from S0, S0 to S1, S1, while price is still at PE and quantity demanded at QE, has caused an excess demand of QE, Q2. Due to the excess demand in the market, consumers will bid the price up, and as price increases, quantity supply will increase, and as quantity demand will be decreasing until a new equilibrium is met at P1 and Q1 respectively, which make the point E2. Let's solve one classwork on equilibrium. Here we said the demand and supply equation for a commodity are given as D is equals to 10 minus 2P and S is equals to 4P minus 8 respectively. Given that P is the price in dollars and D and S are quantity in kilograms, determine the equilibrium price, the equilibrium quantity. So if the price was fixed at $4, what will be the excess supply? If the price was fixed at $2, what will be the excess demand? We are asked to draw the demand schedule for the price range $2, $3, $5, and $4. Now when we look at it, this question is just like the assignment I gave and I solved it in the beginning of this lesson. So if I told you try your best and did the assignment by yourself together with the understanding, I think now this solution will not be a problem. Now when we look at it, question A, Roman 1, equilibrium price is the price level where quantity demanded is equals to quantity supply. Therefore, if we equate the two functions, that will give us 10 minus 2P is equals to 4P minus 8. Some of you here, something might confuse you because you are saying that both the two functions, they are framed in a way that you will see negative in both the two functions. But know that that negative is not on the slope. The quantity demanded, we have the quantity supply 4P minus 8, the quantity demanded 10 minus 2P. So some of you, this will confuse you because you are seeing negative, negative. But you have to be very conscious here and look at where the negative is attached. We say the demand curve or the demand function, or anyone you use, they have a negative slope. You should be able to identify where the slope is on the equation. That is what we call the slope parameter. The slope parameter is on the coefficient of the price. That is where the negative will be attached. So if the slope parameter is negative, that is a normal demand function. But if the slope parameter is positive, it's not a normal demand function. Now looking at here, the slope parameter here is positive, which means this is supply. Now we have the quantity demanded where the slope parameter is negative 2. That one is the normal demand function. Now if we equate the two, you are going to have, let's say, 4P minus 8 is equals to 10 minus 2P, just as we solved it the last time. Now we collect like terms. Use the transposition method and eliminate the coefficients of P, and that will give you P as the subject of the formula. That is what we have done there. That's why when we transpose negative 2, it gives us positive 2, which makes us 4P plus 2P, which is equals to 10 plus 8, because 8 is negative. If you transpose it, it changes to positive. So that will give us 6P is equals to 18. You divide both sides by P, by 6. When you have 6P is equals to 18, there you want to eliminate this 6, you are going to divide both sides by 6. And P give you $3, because the question here is telling you about dollars. So therefore you have to indicate the unit of the currency there, which is dollars. If not, the answer is going to be wrong. Says now from the solution, the above solution, the equilibrium price is $3. Now when we go to the equilibrium quantity, we substitute it in one of the functions. When we substitute it, 10 minus 2 into 3, that gives us 10 minus 6, which gives us the quantity demanded 4. Hence that is the equilibrium quantity, that is also the quantity supply at that price. Know that. And the equilibrium quantity is 4 kilograms, because they give you the unit on the question. You have to put the unit there also if you are solving it. So the excess supply is always quantity supply minus quantity demanded at a given price. Here you are given 4. So you have to find the quantity supply at price 4 and the quantity demanded at price 4. So when we find it, the quantity demanded at price 4 is 2 kilograms, the quantity supply at price 4 is 8 kilograms. When you subtract the 2, the excess supply becomes 6 kilograms. The excess demand is quantity demanded minus quantity supply at a given price. you are given price $2. So when you substitute it, at price 2, quantity demanded is 6 kilograms. At price 2, quantity supply is 0 kilograms. So the excess demand there is 6 kilograms. So we were asked to construct the demand schedule of those prices. We calculated the quantity demanded at price 2, 3, and 4. The one we did not have was 5, which I calculated there, which give you 0 kilograms, the quantity demanded there. So therefore, if you construct the schedule is just a table, as you were told. This is talking about the demand, you were asked about the demand. So it's just a table. So the table that shows price and quantity demanded, you just input it inside the table, and that will be your final answer of this classwork. Hope you enjoy the class, and please don't forget to stay at home until next time. Now I'll give you a reading assignment today. When you go, you read about elasticities of demand. Until next class. Thank you.